Welcome to the Your Courageous Life podcast, where we explore what it really means to transform fear, burnout, and perfectionism with the practice of courage. I'm Kate, author of the books 100% Fully Alive and The Courage Habit, creator of YourCourageousLife.com, and head of the CLCC Coach Training Program at TeamCLCC.com. If you're someone who feels deeply, thinks critically, and wants to stay grounded in a world that can feel like too much, then this is the podcast for you. Learn evidence-based and heart-centered tools to practice courage so that who you are on the inside becomes how you live, lead, and show up on the outside. And now, let's get into today's episode. Hey friends, today's going to be something of a salty topic. Let's say that, a salty topic, because it's going to be about the real work of self-trust. Not just the, Instagram version of self-trust that's like just believing yourself, but the real kind. The kind that's built, the kind that's earned because you've had your face in the dirt and you've experienced the consequences of not trusting your intuition, of not listening to an internalized voice, of not aligning your values with your actions. This is the type of self-trust that truly is authentic, not just declared on some pithy little meme. Because the truth is, confidence, which is really what self-trust is, follows commitment, not the other way around. So if you are someone who's been going, I'm not sure what I need to do to start trusting myself, today's podcast, like I said, might be a little salty because this is going to be that pep talk that I'm going to cut straight to the chase, the TLDR, as the kids say. I'm going to get to the point that you've got to start taking action. And so my hope is that as you're listening to this, something in you thinks of that thing, that dream, that space you've been trying to carve out for yourself, the self-care that you're always putting off, the relationship question that you've been afraid to ask, whatever it is that's tied to your work around self-trust. My hope is that this podcast episode is one that you go, okay, yep, I'm getting motivated to really do the work. And I got to tell you, I can't tell you how many times I've waited to feel ready. I've done that. Okay. This is not critique of you. I'm right there shoulder to shoulder with you. I have tried to wait to feel ready to make a big move, to end something that wasn't working, to have the awkward conversation, to really start something that mattered. And here's what I learned painfully. And this is what you need to get. Ready is a moving target. It's a moving target. The more you chase it, the further it gets. So we've got to stop bullshitting ourselves. We've got to stop asking this question, am I ready? We've got to stop doing this thing where we think that readiness is complete absence of emotional triggers or discomfort, or ready looks like everybody, getting around you and applauding your idea. The real question is not, am I ready? It's, am I willing to have my own fucking back, no matter how this goes? Because you've got to have your back before anybody else is going to have your back. You have to be the first person in line to stop betraying yourself and stop lying to yourself. Nobody likes a liar. Nobody likes being betrayed. So you want to know why you don't trust yourself? Because you've lied to yourself, which means you've betrayed yourself. You've told yourself you're going to start on Monday, and Monday comes and you just don't feel like it, so you don't do it. You've told yourself that you're going to stop saying yes to that person when you really want to say no, and then they straight up ask you, would it be okay if I did ... And you don't want to say yes to that. It's not okay with you, and you just smile and go, yeah, it's okay. And then I think one other way that we betray ourselves is when instead of taking an action, we want to go analyze it all. There's look, understanding what's going on beneath the surface is important. I'm all about pattern recognition and all of that. I've got the Courage Habit, 4 fear patterns that I encourage people to recognize, because when you recognize the pattern, you are empowered to change the pattern. But let's get real. Some of y'all who are listening to this right now, you know your pattern. You know what you do already. You do not need to go read another book about it. You know that you're neurotypical, or you know that procrastination is your safe space when you're feeling really intimidated, or you know that talking to your mother-in-law about something is going to get you riled up, or you know that you don't want to continue to hang out with so-and-so anymore. You know that that is your dream and you've been thinking about it for years, joining that program, starting a new career, writing that book. You know that the only way to write the book or create the art or start the career is to start taking action in that direction. You know that layoffs might be coming at your job, and so it's a good idea to save up money just in case. Oh my God, everybody, you know already. You know this already. Hun, I'm saying this to you the way I would hope someone would talk to me who just, if they saw me and they loved me and they cared about me and they were going, this isn't working. We have to call a thing a thing. We have to say the truth. If it's not working, it's not working. And you already know these things. You do not need to spin out in more analysis. What do you need to do to show up for yourself over and over, even when you're uncertain, even when you have no guarantees? Because who the fuck gets guarantees? Do you think I get guarantees making this podcast? I mean, really, truly, contemplate this question. You're a podcast listener, you're listening to this right now, and I am not trying to call you out. I am trying to call you in. So really, truly, do you think that I don't go through these periods of going, what am I even doing? It's uncertain. I don't know if that's going to work. Do you think I don't do that? Who do you admire most in the world? Who's the family member who you admire most in the world who is just all strength? You think they never have gone through that? Who's the person who's written the most inspirational book you've ever read? A book that changed your life. They probably tell the story in the book. That's how so many of these books start, of what wasn't working and how afraid they felt and how one day they had to make a decision to do something different. When are you going to make that decision? When are you going to stop this bullshit of, am I ready? There's a way in which I could imagine that someone right now is feeling very like, whoa, Kate, super harsh. Not the way you normally show up for a podcast. So sorry, it's a little salty, like I said, but there's this feeling that I think is emerging in me more and more. And I'm going to go ahead and name where I think it comes from. I'm noticing it a lot in myself, and here's where I think it comes from. My dad is dying, and he's in his marginal decade. So it's slow. You know, in the movies, when a beloved elderly figure is dying, you know, they're all settled in bed with their blankets and they're all smiling and they're all looking around and dispensing wisdom. Or maybe they're, you know, grumpy but lovable. But they say something poignant. They pass on those life lessons. And that's great for the movies. In real life, what I'm witnessing is slow deterioration, physical deterioration, mental deterioration, and it's painful. It's painful for him to experience. It's painful for me to watch. It's hard to know what to do. And here's the thing, it reminds me, we don't know how much time we get here. You don't know how much time you get here. This is your one precious life. Why in the world Would you think that you're going to somehow be better off by delaying, hesitating, waiting, doubting, questioning yourself, not taking action until you have everything all laid out? Why? How does that make any sense whatsoever? So the real question is not, am I ready? It's, am I willing to have my own fucking back and take action and still have my own fucking back no matter how this goes? That's how you learn self-trust. It's not easy. If you're sitting here now and you're like, but this feels hard. What's the easy way? It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not going to be easier because you wait. I love my dad dearly. There are multiple examples I could give you right now of things that he told himself he was going to do and never did, and he is literally paying the consequences for it right now. There are decisions that he needs to make right now about end of care for himself that he is not making. And I know from having walked with him and navigated prior health issues that he's had, that every single time he's had those health issues, the exact same pattern plays itself out. He's not prepared for the fact that he's going to have these health issues, even when his doctors are telling him you're going to have these health issues, and even when his family is telling him, hey, I think you need to prepare for it. He's not doing it. He wants to put his head in the sand. And do I have compassion for that? Absolutely. Do I also say, you got to be accountable? Absolutely. There's something that I think we have kind of lost in our culture with the rise of people speaking about empathy and compassion, and that is that accountability can be uncomfortable. The space that we want to go into is not patting ourselves on the head and giving ourselves a nice little blanket all the time and some warm milk and going, if you're not going to do the things that matter to you in your life, it's okay. That doesn't work. Do I think that we should call ourselves names? No. And by the way, notice that even when I sounded really intense a few moments ago, I didn't call names. I didn't abuse. I stated facts that the delays are just excuses. That's just a fact. That's not an insult. That's a fact. I stated that the hesitation, it's not getting you anywhere. Don't bullshit yourself. That's not abuse. That's not putting you down. That's just telling the truth. An intense tone of voice, granted, but it's telling the truth. If you want to trust yourself more, you're going to have to show up and have your own back. And you do not know how long you will be on this earth. And the more you delude yourself by saying, well, I'm going to get to that. I just haven't had the time. Stop it. Your health needs you now. Your kids need you now. Your partner needs you now. Your dreams need you now. And I get it. There are people who are going to be like, well, I don't have the time. I just feel so worn out by working at a job I hate, and then I don't feel like I have any time or energy for myself. That too is something of a lie, because what happens is you are burning yourself out for the things that don't really matter. You're over functioning in the direction of the things like a salary job that you don't really love. And then you're not doing the things in the evenings and weekends or the mornings that really matter to you the most. And there are absolutely ways and strategies that you can employ to not overfunction at the salaried job, not get attached to outcome around how things go with that salaried job, and to slowly shift your mental focus and resolve in the direction of what you want the most. And that, in fact, will give you energy, not at first. At first, it's harder because it's like, how do I integrate this? How do I make time for this? How do I work with the fact that I don't feel motivated after work? Yeah, at first it feels like more work. Do it once, then do it twice, then do it the next day, then do it the next day, then do it the next day. And suddenly you've done it 7 days in a row and you go, oh my gosh, I have a streak going of really showing up for myself. And I've never done that before. I want to break down self-trust a little bit more because I think that if you just try to grit your teeth and clench your fists to get through, that will get you some of the way in the direction you're trying to go, but not all of the way. And I think self-trust really has 3 components. One is integrity, doing what you say you'll do. My mentor, coach, Matthew Marzell, defines integrity as your words and actions match, and they are in alignment with your values, beliefs, commitments, and life vision. If you say you want it, then do it. If you say you want the result, do what it takes to get the result. Don't lie to yourself, don't betray yourself, and really and truly understand that if you say you want it and you don't do anything to create it, you are betraying yourself. And I can imagine, the internet, I always say this, the internet is unmatched in people not being able to grasp nuance and complexity. And somebody's going to be like, well, but I could really work towards that thing and then maybe I wouldn't actually get it. So, what about that? And it's like, yeah, you do what you say you'll do because you will cultivate self-trust. You will know that you did not punk out on yourself. You will know that you had your own fucking back to go after that thing. That's the thing that's important, not even the result. You will have so much more respect for yourself if you follow through on your 5K training plan, even if for some reason you don't finish the 5K on race day. You'll be disappointed if you don't finish the 5K on race day, but you will actually learn so much more from the journey of showing up for yourself, even when it's hot outside, or even when it's rainy outside, or even when you don't really want to do it, or even when it would be easier to sit on the couch. You find it so much easier to self-respect and self-trust when you have integrity. You do what you say you were going to do. Next, compassion, which I'm going to define as treating yourself like someone you care about. I get that the tone of this episode is very intense. And I also think, though, that this is a compassionate episode. I am speaking very directly because I want this to be a wake-up call. This is the way I would want a friend to speak to me. Not, Kate, what the hell's wrong with you? That's abuse. That's not compassion. But if I was really selling myself short, I would want a friend who deeply cares about me to grab me by the shoulders, look me in the eye, and say, Kate, you gotta stop lying to yourself. You gotta stop betraying yourself. Treat yourself like someone you care about. And sometimes that is going to mean that you have to talk to yourself in such a way where you don't let yourself make excuses. You are accountable. Accountability does, again, I know a lot of people have been told to be accountable in such a way that they were given what is often called tough love. And there's something I say often, which is that if the love has to be tough, it probably ain't love. Again, today is not tough love. I'm not laying out, you suck. I'm saying quite the opposite. You are capable of so much. It's not that you suck. It's that it's painful when you are in a place where you think you're not capable, when you are so capable. So capable. Your life is just waiting for you to do something where you look around and go, holy shit, I kind of didn't know I could do that. And it's amazing to realize that I can. That's what I want for you. So First, integrity. Do what you say you'll do. Second, compassion. Treat yourself like someone you care about. And that does not mean you pat yourself on the head with a nice warm glass of milk and make excuses and make it okay that you lied to yourself or betrayed yourself. 3, repair. Owning it when you break that trust and making it right. When you didn't do what you say you'll do. Owning it. And again, this is not the moment for abuse. If you abuse yourself, you become the abuser. Repair is. Oh my gosh. I'm feeling really frustrated and disappointed in myself right now because I didn't do the thing I said I was going to do. And I'm going to take a deep breath. And I'm going to look at why that happened. Was I triggered? Did I not set up my time correctly? Did I let feeling demotivated get to me? Let me debrief it. Okay, I'm disappointed. I'm frustrated. Let me debrief why this happened. Tomorrow is a new day. I'm going to make it right. That's it. That's repair. And if you think about how you would want someone to apologize to you if they lied to you, or didn't follow through for you, it probably would sound something like that. Someone coming to you and saying, hey, I am really sorry that I didn't pick you up when I said I was going to pick you up. I didn't manage my time very well that day. Then I started to run super late, and I'm frustrated with myself that I didn't pay attention to time. And, next time I need to pick you up, I'm going to make sure I leave a little bit early so that I'm here on time. That's it, right? That's what you want to hear. You want to hear that people understand what they did, that they recognize why they did it, and what they're going to do to change behavior. Self-trust has 3 components: integrity, compassion, repair. Most of us are decent at integrity when we're motivated. We'll start the workout plan, the writing practice, the budget. But when we slip and don't follow through, that is when our self-talk turns brutal. And in the Courage Habit, in the Courageous Living program, I talk about tools to shift how you talk to yourself. Because that inner punishment cycle, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? I suck. That actually erodes your trust even more. So you're not going to build trust by patting yourself on the head and giving yourself a little glass of warm milk and telling yourself these lies that it's totally okay that you did not follow through and that you weren't accountable to yourself. That's not going to help you. Neither is beating up on yourself. What I believe helps, what helps me, what I've seen help people I've worked with, is when we are simply honest. When we are simply honest. Let's take this to a practical example, okay? Say you promised yourself you were going to stop overcommitting because you want to make time for something that's deeply important to you. You want to start taking dance lessons at night just for fun. You want to start working on a novel. You want to be able to slow down more in the evenings and, really show your kids that their lives don't have to be overscheduled. You want to spend time with your partner or your spouse. So you promised you'd stop overcommitting. But then a friend asks you for a favor, and before you know it, you're going, oh, sure. And then you've promised, you've committed, your friend's depending on you now. Now what do? Well, first things first, you pause. You're maybe driving your car down the street and you're ruminating on the fact, oh my God, I said that again. I can't believe I did that. I shouldn't have said yes to that. What is wrong with me? And hold on. Pause. Name it. What actually happened? I said yes automatically again without thinking about it. Why did I do that? What was going into that moment? I wanted her to like me. I wanted to feel dependable. I've been saying no more often, and so my muscle for saying no felt a little weakened from how often I've been doing it, and it just felt easier in the moment to say yes. I didn't want the drama. I was hungry. Do you know how many bad decisions get made because people are hungry? I'm here to tell you it's a lot, which is so human. You don't need to beat yourself up. You just need to know what was going on in that moment when you people pleased. You said yes automatically again. You might have a people-pleasing fear pattern. Next thing, you set it right again. This is the repair. You go back to the friend and you say, hey, can we talk? I'm realizing that I said yes too quickly. And when I checked in on what is realistic for me, I actually can't do X, Y, Z. Or I can do X, but not Y. I can help a little bit, but not this much. Or I know you need help. I can't help. I can find someone who can. Or I know you needed help on this date. I can't help on that date. I can help on that other date. There are so many options that are actually available to us when we step out of the place where we think that it's binary, turn left or turn right. There's so many options when we step out of being reactive and into being responsive to the moment. That's a repair. You honored your truth. You re-entered integrity. And even if that feels awkward, that's actually how self-trust grows. Self-trust grows from not just the fact that you showed up for yourself. You didn't lie to yourself or betray yourself, but you showed up for yourself in the moment when you could have just gone, oh, well, I already made the mistake. I might as well just... You were willing to come back to the drawing board and go, you know what? What is it that's going on in this moment? What do I need to do? Now, some people really struggle with self-trust because they don't yet have evidence that they'll follow through. Again, this is when you're waiting for the proof before believing. But the thing is, you have to understand that you don't wait for evidence. You create it one small act at a time. So every single time you're making a choice that honors what you actually need, you teach your nervous system, I can rely on me. And that's the work. That's the muscle. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm looking back on some situations where I didn't practice self-trust. What hope do I have that I'm going to do it any differently? You got to start practicing, which means you got to make the choice to change something. You got to sign up for the gym membership or book the plane ticket or sign up for the program, the training program, the group program, the dance classes. You got to put time on your calendar every day to start reading the book or writing the book or creating the art. Another way that you can also bolster your self-trust is by checking in on a more regular basis. So maybe at the end of each day, asking yourself, where did I have my own back today? Maybe it's tiny. You spoke up one time. Hey, one time is better than none. Or you stopped scrolling when you said you would. Great. Fantastic. If you're trying to take charge of your time, then great. You stopped scrolling when you said you would. That's going to put you a lot farther to taking control of your time than if you just kept on scrolling. Write those things down. Track them. That's how you start to see your own reliability. When I first started to engage with this practice, no lie, this is literally what I did. I am quite the journaler. I journal a lot. And my favorite notebooks to journal in are Moleskine notebooks, Moleskine. You don't need that particular brand to do what I'm about to describe. I'm just sharing an anecdote. I took like the last 4 pages of my Moleskine notebooks and I wrote down actions that I wanted to take regularly. And I created a little grid where I would give myself a check. So it's like I took it and I wrote down the actions in what functioned as column 1. And then there were little X's next to each one. And each day that I actually took the action, I'd put a little X. And I did it over and over and over and over and over because I needed to create habits and streaks and consistency out of this in order to truly shift and change. And these were for actions like looking back on my day and going, an integrity check-in, did I act with integrity today? So it's not just about, did you do something tangible that everybody can see, like showing up at the gym, though certainly you can use it for that. Literally building your self-trust can be something that you track in a tracker. The bigger thing I want you to leave with today is that when you live in alignment with your words, with your compassion, with repair. You stop abandoning yourself. And that's what courage looks like in daily life. That is what self-trust looks like in daily life. And if it feels like it's going to take forever and how am I ever going to get there? Well, just try doing it for a month and see how far you get. You're probably going to feel so proud of yourself just for staying consistent with different habits for a month. And then once you've done it for 2 months or 3 months, I mean, my goodness, 3 months is such a small window of time in the overall arc of your life. So small. And 3 months from now, your life could look so much different, so much better. But it all depends on you making a choice, right here, right now. Do you have your own back? Are you going to keep lying to yourself? Are you going to betray yourself again? Or is today the day you say, absolutely not, no more, I'm showing up for me. That's how I do life. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Before you go, would you take just one moment to give a rating in whatever podcast app you're listening in right now? It's a tiny action that helps to get this podcast out to more people. And I've got more for you. You can get access to free resources, audios, worksheets, and more for practicing courage in your everyday life. Head over to yourcourageouslife.com and become a subscriber, and you'll get access to an entire library of free courageous resources. And if you've ever thought about becoming a coach, or if you want to bring deeper presence and purpose to your work life so that corporate job doesn't feel quite so soul-sucking, check out the CLCC Coach Training Program at teamclcc.com. Thank you again for listening, and I hope that whatever today brings, you meet it with courage.